Welcome to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. I'm Allie Rose, certified clinical hypnotherapist and subconscious success coach. I help my clients stop self-sabotage and feel safe to create more wealth, worth, and wellness from within. If you find yourself stuck repeating the same unhelpful patterns in your life, health, business, or relationships, even after all the mindset work, this podcast is for you. Each week, you'll hear deep dives into the hidden beliefs shaping your life and live hypnocoaching sessions where someone shifts a block in real time. Because willpower isn't the problem, your subconscious story is. And when you shift it at the root, everything else begins to change. So let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. In today's episode, you'll hear a raw, honest, and deeply moving hypnocoaching session with our caller, Nicky, a woman who came in believing she was dealing with a financial block, a struggle around money, stability, and being able to fully provide for her family. But as we talk, it became clear that what was happening was much deeper than money alone. Because sometimes money is not just money. Sometimes it's grief and survival, or sometimes it's the place where loss, shame, worth, and being cared for all get tangled together. We begin with conscious conversation and then move into the subconscious, where we uncover the part of her that had been creating this financial struggle for a reason. As always, for privacy and safety, portions of the session have been gently edited, but what remains is the heart of the transformation. As you listen, consider, where has money stopped feeling practical and started feeling deeply emotional in your life? What beliefs did you inherit about success, worth, and what makes a person valuable? All right, let's dive in. All right. Well, welcome to the podcast, Nikki. I'm so happy that you're here. Can you tell me a little bit more about the financial block that you feel like you're experiencing?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, sure. It's a little bit difficult to explain because I grew up in poverty. My parents divorced and all of that, but I've always been really good at manifesting in the moment things that I need. And that was true right up until my relationship with my husband. And obviously, I'm not saying that the relationship is the cause, but it definitely seems to have been a catalyst for some sort of block happening with us meeting. We were in a long distance relationship for a year, and then he moved up here. Things happened super quickly. I got pregnant within a month or so, and then we were engaged, and then we were married, and then we had a baby. And our daughter's birth was extremely traumatic. We ended up with extreme medical expenses, and through falling pregnant in a spate of circumstances, I ended up losing my job that I had. My husband never managed to find work when he moved up here. And so we'd started our own business, and it's great. It's a fantastic idea. People seem to love it. We're passionate about it, but we just can't seem to get it off the ground. And we're very fortunate in the moment that we have an incredible support system in friends and family that are helping us out. But it's really frustrating having to rely on the charity and goodwill of others. We're trying to raise our daughter. We can't provide for her ourselves, and it's difficult, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that. So I know you mentioned that you grew up in poverty, but what was your relationship like with your mom and dad?
So my relationship with my dad, we didn't have a relationship when I was a kid. With my parents divorcing, I very firmly took my mom's side. And it's funny because my brother was quite close to my dad, and my mom and I were best friends. I could talk to her about anything. She never tried to turn me against my dad, but I wasn't stupid, and I saw the way he treated her. He was never He was never physically abusive. He was a bit emotionally abusive. He would say things to her like she's of no consequence and things like that. But when she passed away when I was 22, very unexpectedly, and then my dad moved into the house that we'd been staying in, and we sort of lived as roommates, but I never really treated him as my dad because by then I was an adult and, it was too late to mend the relationship, or so I thought. But my mom's death kind of really shocked him a lot and made him realize how much damage he'd done to his relationship with me and my brother when we were growing up. And he was always kind of like the get rich quick scheme kind of guy, always hustling for the next paycheck or the next quick money maker, so to speak.
Mm.
And then he got sick when I was 30 and he got cancer, and we nursed him at home for the year because he didn't want to be in hospital. I didn't want him to be in hospital. We kind of mended our relationship, and through his illness, I got to see that everything that I'd thought about him as a child was not the true man inside. He had his own, he wasn't perfect, but he was a gentleman in the true sense of the word. He was a gentleman. He hated conflict of any kind. It it caused him unbelievable anxiety and stress, and so he would just shut down. And that was what was happening every single time there was conflict between my parents, between him and my stepmother, between us. Like he would just shut down. And I saw it as him just not caring, but it wasn't that at all. And so I'm very grateful that I got to have that year with him where we mended our relationship. But then obviously he did end up passing away. And it was hard. It's just rough.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing all of that. A lot of loss, your mom passing at 22 and then your dad mending that relationship and then losing him. I can imagine that that's a lot. And then you shared about your daughter. It sounds like the birth was pretty traumatic. Can you share just a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I was hoping for a natural birth at home,
Mhm.
and I got to 41 weeks and I went into labor, and I was in labor for a week and the labor kept stalling. So I'd have some contractions and then it would stop.
Mhm.
And at 42 weeks, my midwife said to me, maybe we try a stretch and sweep to induce and get it going. So my husband and I spoke, and we made the decision to do that. But then while we were with my midwife and she was doing the test to make sure that everything was okay with our baby, something was off. It wasn't anything obvious, but some results that tweaked a bit of a warning for her. And so she sent the test results to our backup gynae because we had a backup in case I needed a C-section, because both my husband and I had been born by emergency C-section. So we knew we needed that backup. We were at least prepared for that. And after discussing it with my midwife and the gynae had said that she suspected our daughter's umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, and that was what was stalling the labor because it was compressing every time the contraction started. And she wanted to induce, and I said, no, we're not inducing. If we need to, we'll go for C-section straight away without induction. So we'd done the stretch and sweep, then made the decision. And then while we were going to get our bags and stuff, because we hadn't prepped for the C-section, we were still planning to birth at home, my waters broke.
Mm.
And by the time we got back to the maternity unit that I was set to birth at for the C-section, there was meconium, which is the first stool of the baby. And that's like always a bit problematic or a bit of a concern. But it was okay because I was going into theater and it was going to be quick. And we were in theater, had the epidural, and they took her out. My husband was with me, and they took her out, and we saw her move once, and then she died. And they took her straight for resuscitation. The medical team was absolutely incredible. They spent 6 hours working on her, keeping her breathing with support before the ambulance got there to take her to the neonatal ward because I birthed at a birthing center, which had emergency support but wasn't equipped for NICU. And she spent a month in NICU, racking up incredible bills, which our medical aid, because we had medical insurance, our medical aid, they didn't cover her fully. We had to fight with them to even get her to cover it. And anyway, it was just a big, big mess and a very traumatic month. I was recovering from a C-section, which I'd never wanted. I was recovering from the fact that I didn't get the birth I'd wanted. I was in shock because my daughter was in NICU, you know. We were driving back and forth 45 minutes from home to the hospital twice a day, every day to go and visit her. And anyway, it was a month and then she was home, and it's been absolutely incredible having her home since then, but our finances have never recovered.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful that she's here, and I'm excited to see what we can get to the bottom of with this financial block. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, if you're ready to dive into the hypnosis portion of the session,
Sure.
you ready?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in, and then I want you to look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're trying to look into your own eyebrows, keeping your eyes glued to a real or imagined spot overhead. Just breathe in and out. Take another deep breath. Breathe in and out. And each time you blink, that's hypnosis coming upon you. And just one final time, take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. So just one more time, go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, at least 100 times deeper. That's perfect, Nikki. You are responding perfectly, exactly as I knew you would, because you are incredibly open, receptive, and suggestible, and your mind is incredibly powerful. So now we're going to explore this part of you that's created a financial block in your life. So I want you to just imagine that you've gone inside yourself. You've turned your eyes inward. You're still Nikki, but now you're scanning your body until you find the part of you that came up with this financial block. And I want to assure you that it came up with this because it thinks that it might have some useful role, function, purpose, and or intention in your life. So I want you to imagine for a moment that you're looking this part of you that created this financial block. And I want you to tell me when you feel ready, where do you carry this part of you in your body?
In my chest.
Okay. Now I want you to imagine that you can reach inside your chest and you can pull this part of you that created this financial block out of your chest. And I want you to give it a color, texture, shape, or size. What does it look like?
Like a dark gray circle.
Okay.
It just almost like a sphere, but like a cloudy,
Mhm,
murky,
mhm.
I suppose a murky crystal ball kind of vibe.
Okay. And how do you feel as you look at this part of you that's created this financial block?
Ashamed
Mm, tell me more. Why do you feel ashamed?
because I feel like I've let myself down and let other people down, and I've been a burden
Mm,
to people.
yeah. Okay. So I want you to just keep imagining that you're looking at this part of you, this dark gray circle, kind of murky crystal ball looking part of you that has created this financial block. And I want you to ask this part of you, what is your role in my life? Why are you here?
I don't know, I'm not really getting
You're not really getting anything?
no,
Okay.
kind of just there.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I want you to ask that part of you, what is your function in my life? How are you helping me by creating this financial block?
Sounds really weird, but it's almost like it's trying to show me how strong I am,
Mm,
that I can do difficult things,
mhm,
like, and but also that I'm always taken care of,
mhm, mm. Okay.
even when I don't fully believe it.
Mhm. I want you to ask it, why do you need to show me that I'm strong?
Because I don't value myself enough.
Mm,
I don't I don't believe that I bring enough value to people
yeah.
into the world. And so one of the ways that it does that is by showing me that people really do care
Mm,
about me.
yeah. Okay. You're doing great, Nikki. That part of you is doing great. We're so thankful that it's coming forward to talk to us. I want you to ask that part of you, what is your purpose in my life? Why are you here?
It's just it's almost like because you wanted me. Don't know.
Mm, mhm. I want you to ask it, why would I want you to come? Why would I want to be financially blocked?
I think it's more of like a subconscious thing where
Mhm,
like your your success as a person and a human being is by defined by money.
mhm,
And I've always fought against that. I've always believed that that's not true. And so instead of letting money flow in or like finances be easy,
mhm,
it's always been a fight, you know.
mhm,
Like I want the financial freedom, I want the financial security, but I also don't want to be measured by my wealth or
mhm,
by my success with money,
mm,
because I think that as human beings we deserve to be seen
mhm.
as human beings, not as our wallets or our bank balances or our material possessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's such a beautiful belief, right? But I wonder if this part has come in And now, in some ways, you are getting to see that people are showing up for you in this time of need and that your worth and your value isn't based on your financial success,
Yeah.
right? So you're doing great, Nikki. That part of you is doing great. I want you to ask it one more thing. I want you to ask it, what is your only intention in my life?
To set me free.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense.
I want you to ask it, what do you mean by that? Set me free.
Because by recognizing my worth, I'm not chained to some mediocre beliefs or like I'm not I'm not holding myself back from my potential.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. You're doing great. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Now I want you to ask this part of you that's created this financial block. When did you first come into my life?
That my dad died
Mhm.
because his partner at the time, who became like a second mom to me, she was there nursing him with me,
Mhm.
and she made it so clear that I wasn't a success because I didn't have financial security
Mm.
and I wasn't prioritizing money and security and stability in my life because I was more interested in living life that I was passionate about. And yes, I was working and paying my bills, but it was like work I loved, work I was passionate about.
Right.
I left successful corporate jobs to be happy, and it meant that I didn't have financial security. And I was always compared to my brother who did have financial security and was doing really well
Mhm.
for himself. And I was always seen as a failure in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you can see that you came up with this, and can you understand why?
Yeah, sorry. I'm pretty sure I'm ugly crying right now.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot, but I mean, so this part of you, like I said at the beginning, it believes that it's doing something good for you because every part of us believes that it's doing something good for you. So it came in to show you that you are worthy, valuable, and cared for without the financial success that others tell you that you need to have in order to be worthy, valuable, and cared for, right?
Yeah,
Because throughout this time period, you've had people show up for you in really big ways to care for you and your family,
yeah, very big ways.
right? So the
Yeah,
beautiful thing though is that oftentimes what happens is that parts of us get created and they work for a while, but then there's an expiration date on that working. And
yeah,
because we came up with the part, the beautiful thing is we can let it go, right? So
yeah.
I want you to tell me, how are you different now than during that time period when your dad passed away? Is there something about you that's different now?
I care less about what people think of me.
Mhm.
I mean, I still care, but I'm getting to the point now where it's a case of, well, as long as I'm happy, I don't need anyone's approval for what I'm doing in my life. I don't need anyone's. recognition. I just need my own. And the people who really matter to me
Right. Right.
and who I matter to
Right.
don't care about that. Where
So
before it would have really upset me.
yeah. Yeah. Is it safe to say that this part of you that is blocking finances from coming in, is it safe to say that it's not working for you anymore?
Yes, very much so. I would like it to leave now, please.
Right, right. So I want you to tune into that part again, and I want you to ask it if it's ready to leave.
I think so.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and ask it if there's anything that it needs from you in order to feel safe enough to fully leave? Does it need you to do anything, say anything, commit to anything?
I think it needs me to commit to be more disciplined,
Okay.
which makes sense because in terms of working with money and like being financially stable and secure, I've never really learned how to do that. So everything is spur of the moment, impulsive kind of vibe.
Mhm,
And so it's also taught me how to manage the money that I do have better because I've had to.
mhm,
So that was a valuable lesson. And I just need to follow that through when finances are easier.
mm. Okay. So if you are willing to be more disciplined, would the part be more willing to leave?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Nikki, do you feel like you need to bring in a different part to replace this part, like a more supportive and helpful part, or do you just feel okay releasing this part?
I feel like I need to bring something in.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to just go ahead and to this part of you that has been creating this financial block. I want you to spend a moment and I want you to thank it for the way that it has helped you, for the way that it has shown you that you are worthy and deserving and cared for and valuable without the financial success. And then I want you to go ahead and release it. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that. And you can tell me whenever you're finished.
Okay.
Okay. Has that part of you gone?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know? Do you feel any different in your body?
I'll the smoky ball disintegrated and wafted away.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Now tell me, what part could you bring in that would feel more helpful and more supportive? Like what would its role or job be in your life?
It would be a better understanding of how to save and how to budget and have the money to do so.
Mhm.
Not living in survival mode anymore, but rather like focusing on being happy and healthy and using money wisely and making conscious choices rather than survival choices.
Okay. So, if we were to give this more supportive money part a color, texture, shape, or size, what would you want it to look like?
Pink rose quartz,
Okay.
big healthy chunk of
Okay.
pink.
Okay. Wonderful. And I want you to go ahead and I want you to take a moment and I want you to imagine this big, healthy chunk of pink rose quartz. And I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths in and allow that part of you to integrate into your body wherever you feel like you want to integrate it. And you can let me know whenever you're done.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and take a deep breath in. And I want you to just notice, scan your body for a moment and notice, how are you feeling now? Tell me what's going on within you.
Well, that lump that was sitting in my chest is gone, which is nice. I can breathe again,
Mm.
and I feel supported from my root chakra, I guess that you would describe it as.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like I'm sitting grounded
Mhm.
on that rose quartz.
Yeah. Good, good. So you said something earlier that you were always compared to your brother and that, you were always kind of told that you were a failure by those standards or by those comparisons. And so I want you to just allow an image of a younger version of you, whatever age your brilliant, beautiful mind decides to come into your mind, and you can let me know when it's there.
Okay.
And I want you to imagine yourself now as the older, wiser version of you. I want you to step into wherever that younger version of you is. And I want you to go over to her and I want you to tell her anything and everything that she needs to know from you, this older, wiser version of you. What does she need to hear? And now I want you to just picture that younger version of you hovering just above your head. See them now slowly descending down, dropping down, merging into your body, merging into your heart, merging into your life now. You feel that younger version of you merging within you now, and they are never ever going back because they're now taking up residence in you as an older, wiser version of you. They are free now. They've had a massive upgrade into your life, and you are free now to be the person that you choose to be. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and out, and just allow that version of you to merge within you now. And now, as you are seeing this, feeling this, believing this, feeling wonderful, amazing, and free, I'm going to count you back to full awareness. With each number, you will become more aware of your surroundings, bringing this feeling back to the room. So, on the count of one, you're becoming more aware. On the count of two, you're aware of the room and the sounds around you. On the count of three and four, go ahead and take in a deep cleansing breath. And on the count of five, whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the room.
Wow,
How was that for you?
that's really cool.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you
just gotta
feel?
make sure. Uh, Tired but good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anything that especially stood out for you?
I'm surprised that that particular moment with my dad's partner at the time impacted me so profoundly. Like, I knew it had
Right.
because I remember it so vividly, but I didn't realize that it was so extreme that it impacted all my decisions
Right.
from that moment on to, like, almost a decade later, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I always say is that people are often surprised when we go in and we talk with the subconscious. There are these moments that make these imprints, and we don't think that they do, but they really do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I always knew it had impacted me because after that moment, I kind of started distancing myself from her and realizing how unhealthy her attitude towards me was. But I thought that by distancing myself, I was like dealing with it, you know?
Right.
The reality was I didn't deal with it at all.
Right.
just, just was, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope that this was helpful, and I'm excited to hear how this shifts things for you. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much for trusting me to guide you through this process.
It was incredibly powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will check in with you in a couple of days just to see how you're doing, okay?
Perfect. Thank you, Ellie.
You're welcome. But take good care of yourself for the rest of the day. I know it's later there, so hopefully you're going to get some good rest, okay?
Thank you so much, Ellie. Have a
You're
great
very
day.
welcome. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want to thank Nikki so much for her openness, honesty, and vulnerability. What struck me most about this conversation is how easy it is to judge ourselves for our patterns on the surface while completely missing the pain underneath them. What looked like a financial block was a part of Nikki that had stepped in during a painful season to show her that she was still worthy, still cared for, and still valuable, even without the financial success other people were using as a measuring stick. That part began around the time of her dad's death, when she was compared to her brother and made to feel like she was failing because she had chosen a life built more around passion than financial security. And from there, money stopped being neutral. It became emotionally charged. It became tied to grief, identity, and the deeper fight to believe that worth is not something you earn through numbers. As you reflect on this session, I want you to ask yourself, where might your money stress be carrying emotional pain from an older season of your life? What part of you may still be protecting you from being measured by success, status, or financial security? And what might become possible if you no longer had to prove your worth through struggle? If this episode stirred something in you and you're ready to explore the subconscious stories holding you back, I'd love to support you. You can learn more or apply for a hypnocoaching session by visiting shiftyourstorypodcast.com or using the links in the show notes. I hope that this was helpful, and I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Shift Your Story, Change Your Life podcast. If today's conversation sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a message on social media. I'm at the Allie Rose on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to be coached on a future episode or explore what it would look like to work with me one-on-one, head over to shiftyourstorypodcast.com. And if you never want to miss an episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a rating and review. It helps more people find this work. Until next time, keep shifting, keep growing, and most importantly, I want you to remember that your story isn't set in stone. You always have the power to shift it.